Did you know that a simple cup of coffee once led to political unrest and even executions? In the Middle East, coffee wasn't just a drink. It was a powerful force that challenged authority and united people. Stay with us as we count down the top 10 moments where coffee played a pivotal role in shaping history. Today, we will talk about how coffee sparked a revolution in the Middle East. So before we get started, make sure to hit that like button. Also subscribe to my channel. 10. Coffee's start in the mountains of Ethiopia. Here's where it all began, deep in the mountains of Ethiopia. There's an old story about a goat herder named Khaldi. He noticed something strange. His goats were full of energy after eating bright red berries from a certain tree. Curious, Khaldi tried them too, and the effects were just as powerful. Those berries, they were coffee beans. This discovery wasn't just a moment of personal energy boost. These beans traveled across the Red Sea to Yemen, where Sufi monks found a powerful new use for them. They used coffee to stay awake during long nights of prayer and meditation. This was the start of coffee's powerful connection, not just to staying awake, but to community, reflection, and ritual. 9. The rise of coffeehouses. By the 15th century, coffee had grown far beyond the mountains of Ethiopia, and it brought something new with it: the coffee house. Known as qahveh, these places began showing up in major cities like Mecca, Cairo, and Istanbul. But they weren't just places to drink coffee. These coffee houses became centers of life. People gathered to talk, listen to music, share news, and debate ideas, especially politics. What made them different from taverns was simple: they welcomed everyone. No matter your background or status, you had a place at the table. They didn't just serve coffee, they served connection. Coffee houses broke down social walls and created a new kind of public space where ideas could move freely. And as you'll see, that freedom would soon make them a target. 8. Coffee bans and backlash. As coffee houses became more popular, not everyone was happy about it, especially those in power. In 1511, religious and political leaders in Mecca took action. They feared that coffee, and the conversations it fueled, were encouraging people to question authority. To stop the spread of these ideas, they banned coffee entirely. The same thing happened in Cairo just a few years later in 1532. Leaders saw coffee houses as dangerous, places where radical thoughts could grow. But the public didn't stay quiet. People loved coffee too much. It wasn't just a drink. It was part of their daily lives, their routines, their communities. The bans didn't last. People pushed back, and coffee made its way right back into the heart of society. 7. Sultan Murad IV's crackdown. By 1633, the threat coffee posed wasn't just about caffeine. It was about control. Ottoman Sultan Murad IV believed coffeehouses were no longer just places to relax. To him, they were hotbeds of rebellion, spaces where people gathered to challenge the empire's authority. So, he did what no one expected. He banned them all. But Murad didn't stop there. According to legend, he would disguise himself and walk the streets of Istanbul at night. If he caught someone drinking coffee, the punishment was brutal, sometimes even death. This wasn't just about a drink. It was about fear. Murad saw coffee as a symbol of freedom, of open discussion. And that made it dangerous. But despite the fear, people kept drinking. The fight between power and the people continued to brew. 6. Coffee as a symbol of resistance. Even with harsh bans and threats, coffee houses didn't disappear. In fact, they became stronger and more important than ever. In cities like Cairo and Istanbul, these spaces turned into something powerful, centers of resistance. People met in secret, not just to drink coffee, but to share ideas, question authority, and plan for change. They spoke out against colonial rule. They dreamed of independence. They built movements. Coffeehouses became more than gathering spots. They were safe spaces for bold conversations, places where revolutions quietly took shape, one cup at a time. 5. The spread to Europe. By the 1600s, coffee had made its way across continents, and Europe was next. The first coffeehouses opened in cities like Venice and London, and it didn't take long for them to catch on. But these weren't just places to enjoy a warm drink. Like their counterparts in the Middle East, European coffeehouses quickly became spaces for conversation, for debate, for ideas. Writers, scientists, merchants, and everyday people all gathered around the same tables. They discussed politics, shared discoveries, and challenged old ways of thinking. These coffeehouses became known as penny universities because, for the price of a cup, you could hear some of the sharpest minds of the time. 4. Coffee and the French Revolution. In France, coffee didn't just wake people up, it stirred a revolution. Coffee houses in Paris became gathering spots for some of the sharpest minds of the time. Philosophers, writers, and activists met over coffee, not just to talk, but to plan, to question, and to challenge the system. These places were different. They weren't limited by class or rank. Anyone could walk in, grab a cup, and join the conversation. That equality made them powerful and dangerous to those in charge. 3. Coffee and modern protests. Coffeehouses haven't just shaped history, they continue to shape it today. During the 2011 Egyptian Revolution, places like Cairo's iconic Café Riche became more than just spots to grab a drink. They turned into informal headquarters for activists, thinkers, and organizers. These spaces offered something rare and powerful, a safe place to meet, talk, and plan. People came together to share information, build momentum, and take action, all over cups of coffee. 2. Coffee's role in social change. Coffee didn't just change what people drank, it changed how they connected. As coffee spread through the Middle East, it challenged the old ways of gathering. Instead of private, closed spaces, coffeehouses offered something new, an open, shared space where anyone could sit, speak, and be heard. These places broke barriers between social classes, between strangers, between ideas. They became symbols of progress and modern thinking. In many Middle Eastern cities, the coffeehouse wasn't just a place to relax. It was a place to rethink the world. 1. The enduring legacy of coffee. Today, coffee is still much more than a morning habit in the Middle East. It's a symbol, a living reminder of the region's deep history of resilience, conversation, and transformation. From the quiet focus of Sufi rituals centuries ago, to the lively debates in coffeehouses, to the organizing tables of modern protests, coffee has always been there. It's been the silent witness to change, and often the fuel behind it. In every cup, there's a story of people gathering, questioning, and pushing forward. And that story is still being written today. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.